Amorim era has begun at Manchester United. Hey guys, welcome to the channel, welcome to another video. Yes, today's video is going to centre around this man right here, joining this team right here, and the relationship finally beginning between these two entities as Ruben Amorim has this week taken charge of Manchester United officially. Past few days I've seen him kind of tie up loose ends in terms of living, in terms of sorting out his work permit and all of that kind of stuff. But finally, he's taken charge of his first training session. He's given his first interviews this week as well. And everything seems to be optimistic and exciting to a lot of Manchester United fans for the first time in a very, very long time. We're going to be talking about Amorim, we're going to be talking about Manchester United and everything else in between. But before we go any further in discussing all of that and much more, I'm assuming, I would like to remind you all to please like the video and also subscribe if you are new. Both things always and forever greatly appreciated. Get involved in the comment section as well. Let me know your thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it. That I'm sure will make for great and interesting reading down below in that comment section. So please do use and abuse that comment section, people. Talk to me on this subject. Do you think he'll be a success? Do you think he'll be a failure? All of that good stuff and very much more in that comment section. I'm sure it'll make for great and interesting reading, like I say. So please do get involved. Right, now that that's out of the way and done with, let's begin, shall we? Let's talk Manchester United. Let's talk Ruben Amorim. And I've got to say this before I start this video. I am a Liverpool fan. I am a rival fan. I am looking at this from the outside looking in. So before anyone says I'm a Man United fan or that or whatever, I'm not. I'm a Liverpool fan. I just look at this from the outside looking in. And apart from the odd moment here and there and the odd line, I may say for banter purposes, I try and tackle these videos as openly, honestly, and as neutral and fair as I can. So, there we go. Got that out of the way as well. Right, let's get things started, shall we? Because this has been a very long international break. It has been 2 weeks, which has actually felt like 2 years of international football. The only thing that's kind of aided these past couple of weeks along has been the whole David Coote situation, which I have talked about and gone to in great length about. Go out and check the other videos on that I've done if you haven't already. But I've not really felt the want or motivation to talk about anything international football related. So I had a few days where I took to myself pretty much. And now this week, obviously, the international football is pretty much done. Not just for this break, but for the year. Premier League football is on the horizon of returning, and it's going to be intense for now until March when the next international break goes along, because it's going to be game after game after game after game. And I'm excited for it. Not just as a Liverpool fan that sits 5 points clear at the top of the table, but I'm excited for it. I can't wait to see the tests and the trials that obviously come for a lot of teams. But a lot of Man United fans are rearing their heads again. And I personally think it's for good reason, because I think they have a lot to be excited about. They have a lot to be optimistic about. A few weeks ago, of course, Erik ten Hag was the first managerial casualty of the season. It's been a very poor season by Man United standards, even though they currently are like one win away from jumping a bunch of teams and going into a sort of Europa League spot. But it has been a pretty poor showing from them, footballing-wise. Certain results haven't gone their way. Erik ten Hag was clearly not the man for the job. He gets sacked, and immediately United start working on their replacement. They land on Ruben Amorim, a guy who was linked with Liverpool in the summer and could have potentially became Liverpool's successor in that very same summer. Liverpool decided to go in a different direction. They reportedly didn't offer him the job. And so Amorim stayed at Sporting, only to now be jumping ship from Sporting to Manchester United. At the time, I said Amorim was a young, exciting manager, had a large amount of success in Portugal, managed to break the stranglehold that both Porto and Benfica had on that Portuguese Premier League, and have Sporting rise from the dead, so to speak, to put a stop to their dominance. Fantastic record, fantastic football that he plays, fantastic accolades, achievements, trophies that he's won over there. He's been brilliant in that Portuguese league. He really and truly has. And to be fair, I didn't know a lot about him before he was linked. Didn't know a great deal about him. Little bits and pieces, but didn't know a lot about him. But the more that I got to know him through obviously Liverpool being strongly linked with him, or seemingly being strongly linked with him, the more I liked the guy. That opinion, strangely enough, has not changed. Despite him going to a rival, despite him going to a fierce enemy in Manchester United, I still think that he is a great manager. I still believe he has got a lot of promise and potential to his game and can go on and do more. I like this appointment and I don't want to. I have got my fingers, my toes and everything else that I can cross on my body praying and hoping that this nosedives and hits bedrock is an absolute plane crash. I'm hoping that that is the case because I do not want this to work for the sake of Manchester United. But if I'm being honest, this could be the best piece of business that Manchester United have done post Sir Alex Ferguson and maybe for a good number of years to come. Because this man right here is a promising young manager, plays some great football, very tactically aware, he's very flexible, very adaptable, and he's already made quite the impression on Manchester United fans. Not just his resume of what he did in Portugal, winning a couple of league titles, maybe winning I think he's also won one, maybe two Portuguese Cups. I can't remember exact. I think it is one. I can't remember now that I've said it out loud. But either way, he's got a good resume behind him from his time in Portugal. He's got a good resume in terms of the way that he's gone about things with Sporting Lisbon, working with youngsters, working on a budget, seeing some of his top players that he's had over the years go for big money, but still manage to keep the team spirit up, to keep the mentality up, to keep everything together and bleed new talent, new quality into the squad. He has been brilliant in doing all of that stuff and much more. And he's a young manager. Young manager, promising, could build something extremely special at Manchester United, the likes they've not seen in a number of years. And like I say, he's already making an impression on Manchester United fans. He comes in, he speaks in his first interview. There's a buzz, there's an energy, there's an excitement, there's an aura to this guy that just exudes all of that stuff. And I hate it. As a rival, I hate it. But you know what? Respect. I respect it. There's a level of respect there. And the reason I bring all this up and the reason I wanted to talk about it is because I know that some will say we've been here before. We've been here looking at Manchester United like this before. Erik ten Hag was the latest flavour of the month when he was with Ajax. And he obviously went to Man United and failed. But there's this sense of change. There's this sense of things are going to be different this time around. A Glazer manager was never going to work in an Ineos run system. But an Ineos manager in an Ineos system just might be the final piece of that infrastructure puzzle. Now it's about getting the team together. Now it's about assembling the squad properly in Amorim's image, bleeding in his ideas slowly but surely until eventually they get the right recipe right to create a team that is challenging on multiple fronts and is winning titles again, is winning domestic cups, is challenging in Europe, is challenging for the Premier League. All of that stuff combined is what the end game is the hope for Manchester United and for Manchester United fans. That's it. Sounds easier said than done, doesn't it? But the whole fact of the matter is that people will say we've been here before with Erik ten Hag. But this time, like I say, it feels different. An Ineos system with an Ineos manager, like I mentioned before. What also feels different, he seems to exude this confidence. Something that I've not really seen from other managers. Other managers seem to be a little bit scared of the club the size of Manchester United. This guy seems to be a little bit unfazed by it. Seems to be confident. It seems to be like, I understand the process. I understand the hard work it's going to take to turn these players into something special, to turn the fans into believers once again. And that's where my comparison comes from when I say what I'm going to say next. It does, not completely, but a little bit, feel like when Jurgen Klopp took over at Liverpool. From the outside looking in, I may be reading too much into it, and I could be horribly wrong, and I hope I'm horribly wrong when I say it. But I'm seeing a little bit of when Jurgen Klopp walked in at Liverpool in this guy. The aura, the confidence, the buzz, the electricity, the excitement level, it's all been raised because this guy's entered into the picture. And that's exactly what Jurgen Klopp did. He went into his first press conference and he basically said, I am Jurgen Klopp and I need to turn these fans from doubters to believers. That was the line. Now, I'm not 100% sure he had like a line, but he basically said that. He basically said, I need to start off by implementing my ideas slowly, bleeding them in, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't work, but you will see an idea and an identity that Manchester United have lacked for a number of years. You may like it, you may not like it, but it's going to be there and it's going to be my way of playing. And that is what United have lacked. Because Erik ten Hag went in with an identity behind him, with an idea behind him, but it never came to fruition at Manchester United. Why was that? Was it the players? Was it the ownership? Who was really running that club at the time? This time it feels different. This time it feels like Ineos are going to hand the keys of the kingdom to Ruben Amorim and go out there and do your thing, win us some trophies, build this squad to win trophies, to challenge on multiple fronts, to challenge for the top honours that domestic football has to offer, and just soak in that in the rewards of that. Soak in the rewards of that. That's what it feels like to me. That is genuinely what it does feel like to me from the outside looking in. It feels like it's a little bit like Jurgen Klopp going into Liverpool several odd years ago. It feels like there is a different era, buzz around Manchester United. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be an overnight success. I'm not saying they're going to start winning games 4, 5, 6-0 each and every single week and they're going to go on a madness run and they're going to challenge for the title this season. There is absolutely no way that is going to happen. That squad and this manager right now are, in my opinion, a little bit disconnected in terms of what he wants and what they can offer him. It's not going to be pretty, in my opinion, or completely pretty for a good number of months. Again, when Jurgen Klopp first came in, his style of football just wasn't quite there with the players that were already there. But he had to work a way around it. He had to adapt a little bit. That's why Liverpool were like winning games by 5-4, or losing games 4-3, or drawing games 4-4. They were entertaining to watch, but because Jurgen Klopp's idea of football didn't quite match up with A, the Premier League itself and how different teams are in the Premier League, and B, how the players reacted, it wasn't perfect overnight. It's not going to be perfect with Amorim. There are going to be some teething problems. There are going to be some issues with how his certain members of his squad react to the way that he's playing. But you know what? There are certain players in that squad that could benefit from him. I don't exactly know what's going to happen with Bruno Fernandes. I don't really know where his position may be. He's a bit of a 50-50. Depends on what obviously he wants and what Amorim wants. But you know what? Likes of Marcus Rashford, I know he's had a very good start to his United career, but the improvement of like Mazraoui as well could be insane. Garnacho, a youngster. We know how much this guy likes to work with youngsters and how he likes to grow, or help them watch them grow and obviously go on and evolve their game. Garnacho's going to improve. Lenny Yoro, when he comes into the fold, I would imagine is going to be absolutely loving life under Ruben Amorim. And there's probably so many more as well. Kobbie Mainoo, when he's back from injury, will probably absolutely adore this man. Højlund, if he can get Victor Gyökeres to be an absolute monster and a beast in front of goal, and if he can replicate that with Højlund, United will have one of the most deadliest strikers on the planet in their ranks. I'm a little bit worried. I will admit I'm a little bit worried about United's future. I'm not going to sit here and lie or try and delude myself. Obviously, only time will tell. There is the question of whether or not he can replicate the kind of stuff that he did over in the Portuguese league over into a more intense, more physically demanding, a much more challenging league, I will say, with all due respect to the Portuguese league. So there are some technical things, there are some question marks there, of course there are. But you know what? If he can do it, and he can do all of those things that I said, he can work on a budget, so working with whatever Manchester United decide to throw it in, which is pretty much going to be the kitchen sink, let's face it. Ineos are going to want this to work, so they're going to throw the absolute kitchen sink at this guy in terms of money and say, go out there and do your thing, identify the players that you want, we will do our best to bring them in. He can work with youngsters. United have some really talented and really promising youngsters within their ranks that I'm sure he will love to get his hands on and mould and evolve and help them grow and that kind of thing. It sounds weird when I say that, but you get what I mean. And obviously, like I say, the adaptability, the flexibility is all going to finally be there, and it does seem like his mainstay is going to be starting with an identity. And whether that identity is going to match up with certain members of that squad, I'm not 100% sure, but you will see it. And it's for Man United fans not to get too carried away, keep your feet on the ground, understand there are going to be some teething problems, but also see the bigger picture. If a player is not working in that system, but is doing a job that a better player could come in and do, notice that. Like, say, Dalot at left back. If he's playing a certain way, but if he's going to stay at left back, but he's playing a certain way, don't just be like, well, this clearly doesn't work. Clearly doesn't work because, the system is wrong. Identify the player and go, right, well, he can't change it instantly, but you know what? Give him 1 or 2 transfer windows. He won't be there no more. He won't be there no more. And they'll bring in someone who's better suited for those positions. Those are the kind of things that United will need to look out for. They're the kind of things that they need to identify. And like I say, before long, United will be a challenging team again. And I hate to say it, I don't want to say it, and I'm hoping to God that this crumbles, fails miserably. But I can't help the feeling that I do like this guy. He's got an aura about him that's kind of like likable, even if he is a rival. It's I don't like it. I don't like talking about United in this way, but I can't help it. I have to speak the truth. I have to speak my truth, and yeah, this guy, I think could be the best piece of business that United have made since Sir Alex Ferguson, and maybe even for a number of years to come, because I do like him. So we shall see anyway. We shall see how this one plays out. But obviously, Ruben Amorim kicks off his Manchester United reign in the Premier League this weekend as they play Ipswich. Not the easiest of games, but also it might be something that is going to be more favourable to him. And obviously, looking to get off to a perfect start with 3 points this weekend, as Premier League football is set to return. But yes, there are no more excited and optimistic fans than Manchester United right now in the Premier League. And of course, these are just the thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, from a rival fan's point of view, from the outside looking in of this guy. I want to know what you guys think. What do you make of Manchester United? What do you make of Ruben Amorim and everything else in between? Your thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, will make for great and interesting reading down below in that comment section. So please do get involved. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe if you are new. Both things are always and very greatly appreciated. Thank you all so much for watching and listening, and thank you all so much for your either brand new or continued support. It's very much appreciated by me. So keep supporting the channel. Absolutely love you guys. Really adore it. And yeah, always and very much so appreciated. I've been Fletch. This has been another Fletch Talks video, and I see and speak to you all again soon in another video or live stream or whatever it may be. Cheers, guys. Thanks everyone for watching. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. Speak to you again very, very soon.